Hi everyone, it's Ali and welcome back to the Heffydoodle YouTube channel. I'm going to show you how to do a DIY slider card today. I know that my favourite things have brought out a slider die, and I have had a paper tray ink slider die similar for many years, but I'm going to show you how to do your own today. This is the You're Weird stamp set, which is one of my favourites from the new release, and I've got a piece of white card here, 8 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres, and you don't have to have a particular size. I just picked that because it looked like the dimensions were going to be good for me, and I'm going to use one of my metric stitched rectangles to cut a piece out of the front. I don't want to cut all the way to the top, I want to leave a gap at the top, so I'm going to align it on my die cutting base plate and then put my top plate over like so, and make sure it doesn't go all the way up to the top, so it doesn't cut, it only cuts to that point. Then I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine, and then it's cut the 3 sides. Now I'm going to score along the top with my bone scorer like so, and then I'm going to score about halfway down. I was just sort of measuring on each side so I got the scoring line straight. It's a bit higher than halfway, I would say. Again, I wasn't being exact, I just did it by eye. And then score across again like so, and then score a small bit at the bottom. I think I did about 1/2 centimetre there. And then we're just going to fold all of those along all of those score lines and press that down with my bone folder, and then it will move like so. This is the back piece. I'm just going to use a corner rounder to round off the corners, and that's going to be the piece that slides up from the back and pulls the whole thing upwards, so it'll fit behind like that. Now I'm cutting a little notch in the top so that I can grab that the pull part easier, and fits behind like that. And there's a little gap on each side, as you can see, because I wanted to leave a gap so I can stick it down to the front of my card. Now I'm going to adhere my moving parts together. So just lining it up. It was easier if I flipped it over, and making sure there's a gap on each side, and then press it down, and then it will slide like so. So quite easy to do your own. Now I'm going to stamp the moon, or the planet I guess, and this is great, this stamp set, because if you stamp 1/2 and clean it off and then realign it, you can stamp a whole planet out, so you can use it both ways, which is fabulous. So I'm just stamping that other half of my moon or my planet like so. Now I'm going to do my galaxy background, and I'll show you how I do most of my galaxy backgrounds. I've got Chips Sapphire, Blueprint Sketch, Black Soot and Wilted Violet Distress Oxide inks, and I'm going to start with the Blueprint Sketch. I'm going to I start by bringing it in from the edges, but in the end I do cover this whole piece in Blueprint Sketch, but I just come in from the edges because then it gives a bit of a darker edge to the galaxy piece. And then I'm going in with Wilted Violet and just putting random dots of the colour just to give it a little bit of colour behind the blues and the black. Then I'm going in with my Chipped Sapphire, which is that darker blue over the top. And then last of all, I'm going to use my Black Soot and bring that in from the edges so it's quite dark around the edge, and also put a little bit of that in the middle and across the page as well. The great thing about galaxy backgrounds is you don't have to be too particular, because once you splatter it with water, and I use white gesso, you can't really see the differences in the inking. And I've just done my front little piece as well, and that slider panel that you pull up to, so that when it pulls up it's not stuck white. Okay, now I'm going to splatter it with some white gesso. I just put my pieces in an old box and put my gesso on a stamping block, use a fairly stiff bristled brush, and then splatter it on like so. Now I'm going to, once that was dry, I'm going to splatter it with some water droplets too. I just find that gives a little bit more dimension. Now I'm just colouring in my moon image, and I've used cool greys for this one, and I also stamped out, you can see in the top of the frame there, a couple of the little aliens, and I'm just going to colour them in violets and a couple of greens, bright greens as well, just to finish them off. So they were really quick and easy to colour. The planet takes a few layers and a little bit of working, depends how much sort of dimension you like to give it, but they're all really fun to colour. I love colouring these little aliens, they're very cute. I've put them on acetate strips, and now I'm going to trim those off and adhere them behind the planet, and I was just making sure they didn't poke up too far above the top of the card. I've punched a circle out of black card, and I stamped Pull Me with the Interactively Yours stamp set, and then I'm just checking that it fits okay on the front of the card. Now some 3D foam strips around the edges, making sure that it doesn't get in the way of the pull mechanism working, and then I'm just going to attach that to the front of my card like so, and check and make sure it's all pulling smoothly and working well. Then I stamped, die cut, the happy birthday. I put my distress ink on some white card first, as you can see in the bottom left, and then I die cut my happy birthday words. And then I decided that I probably should have done this before I stuck the front panel on, but anyway, I did it after and it worked fine. I just used a lot of my powder tool there. So I've stamped that and white embossed it, and that's the card. Hope you enjoyed that today, and that you give this a go, because it is quite easy to make your own DIY slider bit like this. And let me know if you have any questions below. Thanks for joining me, and there's some more videos that you might enjoy watching at the end, and I will see you again next time.